Hi guys, you probably know this one. It's stress, 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 stress. But is there a difference between good stress and bad stress? Well, we're about to find out with someone who knows a lot about it, the goods, the bads, and how to resolve it straight after this. Hey guys, welcome to Find Fit People, the platform that helps you connect and find the best in health, sports and fitness. Today we're talking about stress, the good stress, the bad stress. What is the difference? How do you see the difference? And how do you deal with it? I got a special guest on today. She started a company about 4 or 5 years ago, was PT for a very long time, is very knowledgeable, very educated. She now facilitates with her own company with her husband, which is amazing. And we're about to find out more from Heba. How are you? You well?
I'm good, thank you.
Excellent.
Thanks for having me.
I was saying, thank you for coming along. A quick secret. We had one of those ones that's like, just difficult to find the location, the studio beforehand. It's like, what's going on? What's going on? So it's one way to start, and it kind of works in well with today's topic because it's a bit about stress.
Yeah.
Now we're on a timeline. Let's just start with a quick 30 seconds about Bodyhack, because it's gone from a PT company, like you said, into an education company, doing a lot of educations, and I've seen you involved with a few different things around the UAE as well, which is amazing. Just give us a bit of insight into that.
We used to be a personal training company where we used to send trainers out to people's homes, and then we used to do courses on the weekends, and then those really picked up. So about 4 or 5 years ago, we decided to go full-time fitness education, and now we certify people to become trainers or Pilates instructors. And as a company, because my husband and I, we have a background in neuroscience and applied neurology, we focus all of our courses on looking at the body from the neck up. So obviously stress is a big part of that. And how to manage stress and how to deal with it through exercise. And
awesome. Brilliant. Well, that's exactly what you're talking about today, so that's great. The side of it too is that when everyone thinks about stress, let's just dive straight into it. The whole thing about stress is people go like stress, all they see is the mentality that they see is this guy or lady stressing out, having a really bad time, going, ugh. And you obviously with Bodyhack dealing with the brain and stuff like that. Is that one of your top things you guys deal with as far as part of the courses, or? Yeah,
as you said, people associate always stress with mental stress or emotional stress, or you tell this person it could be stress and they go like, oh no, I'm a really chilled out person, but they don't really see the physiological part of stress, which is what we really focus on in our courses, is to
technical difficulty going on there. Sorry about that. So we're going to jump straight back into that. Defining stress. What is stress?
So basically what we were saying was that the amygdala in the brain is very binary, and it's constantly assessing whether you're in danger or not in danger. Even right now, we're chatting together. My brain's
Do you feel like you're in danger?
Well, how much of a threat is this light to my survival? How much of a threat is this chair? Every single aspect of our life, your brain is constantly trying to decipher whether this is a threat to your survival or not.
Yeah.
So basically, stress is real or perceived. You could you could have something going on with your liver that your brain thinks is not in your favor. Yeah. But it could also think that there's something going on with your liver that is not in your favor. So stress, real or perceived, is basically just your brain thinking there's a tiger there, and it's reacting to that.
Okay, yeah. And then we need to find good stress and bad stress. What are some of so we can understand the differences? What is good? Okay, everyone's very familiar with bad stresses. I believe I can explain there. Yeah. What are the good stresses?
I really liked one of the posts that another coach here, Ross Gilmer, put on his Instagram, and he said rather than changing rather than defining stress as good stress, bad stress, it's the dosage of stress. And that's really what it is.
Yeah.
It's the dosage of stress that makes it either good or bad. So when the stress is high, like the tiger is right here in this room, our blood pressure is going to go up, our heart rate is going to go up, everything's going to dramatically increase. And that we call good stress because your brain's always trying to fix the problem. So it's going to go, whoa, what's all this high blood pressure, high heart rate? And it's going to bring it down lower to what it was before, right? But the bad stress is what we consider as this low dosage, not high dosage, low dosage cumulative stress that your brain goes, oh, this is not a big deal. This slight increase in heart rate, like traffic. You know, your heart rate doesn't increase so much with traffic. It just increases a little bit. WhatsApp messages, pollution, you know, all these low-grade cumulative stuff. Your brain's going to go, I better just adapt to this stress. And this becomes the new norm. Your increased heart rate, your increased blood pressure, that becomes the new norm. Your increased breathing rate, that becomes your new norm. So that's what we do. What we tend to see as bad stress, or so low dosage.
Then let's jump into the next part of this, suppose. Then, because solutions, everyone loves solutions. And guys, if you have any comments, questions, please just check them in the comment section below. Share your thoughts as well, because it's always good to share and always good to be part of the discussion. Do you deal with good stress? Is that a dumb question?
No, it's not a dumb question at all. But that's the thing is, your goal as a trainer or your goal as a participant taking part in exercise is to make yourself a better survivor.
100%.
And that's what makes our brain chill out. Is you got to think of your brain as this sort of overprotective parent that's just looking out for you. And if we can build that trust between the body and the brain, or the brain and the body, we start to let the brain take the brakes off our body a little bit and trust us more. And the way we do that is through becoming good survivors. And our students always ask, well, how do we become good survivor? And
it's like a TV show.
Really it's just giving the brain what it needs. So we always say the brain needs two things: to chill out and be happy, and to be a good survivor. And
is one of them Jamaican music? Oh, damn it! I was
we'll add that too.
Fuel,
just the way you eat, or feeding the neurons in your brain. So the way you eat changes your brain, affects stress. We all know that.
When you say the way you eat, define you mean like I'm like chewing slow, chewing fast. The way you put it in the mouth.
Sorry, I didn't mean the way you eat. I mean actual glucose reaching the neurons. So for each person, I'm not going to go down the nutrition route. It's a minefield. But for each person, it's going to be very individual. What they eat to make their brain happy. So it's very, very individual, as you know, and very sensitive topic. Nutrition is going right up there with politics and religion, I think.
Oh, what is it?
So I think eating the fuel part from the oxygen and from the nutrition. So also the way that you breathe, are your neurons actually receiving enough oxygen? And then the second part is activation. So the brain needs fuel and activation to chill out. Activation, nothing beats exercise and movement. You can read a book, but that will activate these neurons. But exercise and movement, there's nothing like it to activate the whole brain, to make the brain really trust you and go, hey, I understand now that you are a good survivor. You are building trust. You getting, for example, weakness is a huge stress. People don't associate being weak with stressful. Totally. But that's a huge stress for the brain because it doesn't trust you. It's not strong enough.
When do you compare like physical stress to emotional stress? Can we go down this line?
Of course.
Totally. So, I mean, when people is it the emotional stress kicks in first and then the physical show up later? Or is there physical stress that comes in and throws off the brain?
That's a great question, actually, because it can work both ways. The physical stress, for example, if you are weak or you are not strong enough, or you don't activate your neurons that are activated typically when you train, the back half of the brain keeps the front half alive. The front half is where your emotions live, your personality lives, your mood. And the way the neurons feed off each other is a bit like a dominoes going from the back to the front. It's an X, as we know. Right feeds left and left feeds right. But it goes diagonally across from back to front. So if you see it so often when you train or when people exercise, their personality changes, they chill out more, they become nicer people.
Yeah.
It's because their brain has changed at a physiological level. So the physical has affected the emotional because of that domino effect of these neurons. It can work vice versa too. The emotional can affect the physical. Obviously, your brain does not differentiate between stressors, and it will put the brakes on regardless of where the stress is coming from, whether it's starting at the emotions or starting at the physical. It's just not going to trust you and think, I better protect.
That's very, very cool. Because what I'm thinking now is there a difference between the type of physical exercise, when you say activity and movement and it's good and has releases, like, is there a difference between, like, say, if you're doing bodybuilding or if you're doing running?
Yeah.
You know, is there a difference from that release, that activity?
For each person, the brain basically loves novelty. So if someone has never done weight training before, they're even going to do machines, which is obviously something that as trainers we think, we need to make movement more interesting than just machines. But for that person,
We're trying to get more functional
that's going to make them a better survivor because it's so novel to them. For people who have been training already, the brain loves novelty and relevance. So complex movement, expanding your library of movements and making things a little bit more complex and, changing the angles a little bit, changing your angles at your knee, makes your brain trust you even more rather than just being very linear with the workouts as traditional exercise.
I think a lot of people think when they think of exercise, they think of like hardcore sweating.
Yeah.
But then there's a lot, you look at the other side of it too with yoga. And a lot of people do yoga and on a daily basis, they do a time, but there is still those technical bits where where your foot's planted, how your knees placed, where your body's placement and all that, and the different joints and stuff like that. That activity does the same response or gets the same response?
Yeah, so basically there's obviously different parts to fuel. The fuel part, if you're looking at the brain from a fuel part, cardio and that kind of intense exercise is great because it fuels your brain. It sends all that oxygen and nutrients up to the brain, so the brain trusts you more. But what yoga does, or Pilates, or any of these kind of mind-body things, is it builds this huge trust from a movement perspective, because now the brain is getting comfortable at, for example, end range of motion, which is like the flexible range, building strength on that range, which is usually the part of the body where the brain goes, I don't trust you. The brain doesn't trust us at end range of motion. So one of the best things about yoga is that it kind of makes the brain used to, okay, I trust you at that end range of motion. And that's where injuries happen. Injuries happen at speed and end range of motion because the brain goes, whoa, I can't predict this. I don't know what's happening.
When you look at... I don't want to dive off in too many different directions. I'll kind of keep main one because I'm trying to think for you guys, and like, again, ask questions, share thoughts. It's great to hear from you. The side of it being that the majority of us end up in stressful situations that usually eat unhealthily, have sedentary lifestyles, that don't exercise, and have the most stress. I mean, obviously this comes hand in hand. How to break that cycle is one of the big, that's the real issue when it out there. Is like people go, yeah, I need to exercise, I know that, or I need to eat, but they don't.
Exactly.
And you must come across that problem all the time. You must hear that all the time. You're like, yep, tick. There's that checklist. What is some of the advice you've given to someone to at least start the change or the adaptation into a better, less stressful life? Because I've heard of lawyers quitting their job and going off to India and becoming a monk. That's extreme, but I mean, in this day's society, in this day's life, what's one of the... It's
really tough because we all know what to do, but we just don't do it.
You just smack around the ears, Rick?
Education is not enough. We all know that. Education, knowing what this is doing to your body, this job is doing to your body, is not changing anything. So it's about finding the trigger. And unfortunately, it's not a straightforward answer because for each person, it's so different.
Yeah, totally.
For one person, it could be this new activity, like they start parkour or they start something that they enjoy so much that spirals into the rest of their life. It affects everything else. It changes their brain at a physiological level, that their decision making about food, their decision making about how long to sit here in the office changes. Their whole physiology up here in their cortex has changed. So it's really about finding something that is very stimulating for that person. that they enjoy, that the exercise has to be like that. You know, if we're looking at exercise as a way of changing brains, which is one of the most powerful things, it has to be something that they enjoy rather than just doing for getting into shape or getting, you know, it has to be super stimulating. That's one thing. The other thing is making the thing that we want to change so basic, so embarrassingly small. For example, I know I need to mark all these portfolios, we call them. I have a huge amount that I need to mark, and it's very tedious and it's very difficult for me to do, but I have to do them. So I go to my brain, okay, I'm only going to do 3 questions a day. Yeah. And 3 questions a day, I'm only going to mark 3 questions a day. That's so simple, so short that I end up doing much more than that. Yeah. But if I set my task as only 3, it's kind of this reverse psychology to go, okay, just 3. And
I do the same thing on a daily basis.
I'm sure.
I just have to get a roll out of bed. That's all I've got to do. Just roll.
Exactly. Make it embarrassingly simple and small. And then it works,
When guys, we're going to come back very shortly to talk more about stress and just how to deal with it. Obviously, we understand the good stress and bad stress. There's good stress out there that help you develop and improve in life, but you want to bring into your life, in my opinion, anyway. You want those things there to challenge yourself and to do better. But we're going to come back and we're going to talk about other ways how to deal with bad stress, how to look at it in a different light, and get a little more deeper with Heba here on Fine for People. See you shortly, straight after this.
We've all been there. Hours searching the internet, asking friend upon friend, making call after call, trying to find the right fitness professional, health specialist, or sports coach. So much time, energy, and even money spent only to find more problems than solutions. Well, now, with the Find Fit People platform, you can find all the available professionals with the skills you need in an instant. We've removed all the barriers by establishing a community of many different skilled health specialists, sports coaches, and fitness professionals that are alerted immediately once you posted your request. In under 30 seconds, you can attract multiple professionals with the right skills to help you achieve the result you want. It's simple, fast, and free. Find us online at www.findfitpeople.com or download the Find Fit People app from Apple or Google Play stores so you can find fit people today.
Hi guys, welcome back to Fine for People, a platform that helps you connect with the best in health, sports and fitness. We're talking today about good stress versus bad stress, and we've identified the difference between the two. We've touched on some points on how to deal with bad stress and to understand that good stress is good for you. Remember that. We've got Heba here from Bodyhack to help us explain and understand. So if you guys have any questions, you want to share your thoughts, please share them with them in the comment section below and we'll try and answer them now or in the replay. Heba, let's go back into some great points for people to take away as far as dealing with bad stress. And you just mentioned before about making things smaller so it's easier to deal with, and you hit that on the head because that's something I do all the time. There's a lot of things we deal with and people deal with they don't want to deal with in life, right? They're like, no, and they run away from it. But if you look at most successful people in the world, these good people do the things they don't want to do. Yes. And I'm sure they deal with it in their own way and different ways. And if you look at things smallly, what's another way to deal with, or a solution or resolution or a problem? What is another way to solve that problem or to break through besides just looking at the small things?
I think just finding something that is so stimulating that you think I am going to do this, even if that I know the other part we talked about was doing things you don't want to do is most successful, and that's where you break it into small bite-sized chunks, right?
Or you delegate
or delegate. Yeah, actually that's true. The most successful people delegate well, right? And a lot of us don't delegate enough. But in terms of trying to find what is stimulating about that thing that you need to do, and really, really hammering that message into your brain that you actually want to do it. Totally. If it's something that you really, really enjoy. Exercise being the simplest example, it has to be something that people really enjoy to do. Work, trying to find the stimulating part of it.
Yeah, find the good bits. I know
that's an obvious answer. But
no, it's cool. But here's one way I deal with it. When you look at that and you say you're looking for the good sides of it, and there's things like people do like affirmation, they look at vision boards and things like that. What's the relation to dealing with the stress? And the answer, I don't know if the answer's there or not, but what's the relation with the brain?
Yeah.
When you've seen these visions and you've seen the words of affirmation, do
Yeah.
you know what's happening here in the brain going like,
Yeah.
oh, I don't know.
Well, your brain doesn't differentiate. Thoughts are nerve impulses too, right?
Mm-hmm.
So your thoughts completely affect your reality.
Mm-hmm.
And for example, when people are sick and they want to get better, it's not the one who's most positive thinker that gets better. It's the one who's in denial in the first place that they even have a problem. My husband, for example, he gets.
Oh.
Sorry, but I've never really known him to be sick, or he'll get a cold and it won't last any time because he's not thinking, oh, I'm so gonna beat this. I ask him, are you not well? He'll say, no, of course I'm fine. And I could see he's not well, but he will never admit to himself that he's in complete denial that he's not well.
Yeah.
And his recovery is always super, super quick, touch wood. But his recovery is so much quicker than mine. I'll suffer for a week or more with a cold or virus, and his would be much quicker. So it's that.
Because you think you're going,
real believability, because for me, affirmations and stuff didn't work so well for me because I know they work great for other people, but my brain was always trying to go, you're just trying to trick yourself. You know what I mean?
Got you, caught you out.
But for me, when I understood the physiology of stress and the domino effect of the neurons and how I can actually control my stress that way, that it became more believable for me that I could control this, or I could control this anxiety through exercise rather than just through positive thinking. But for a lot of people, thoughts are super, super powerful because they understand. If you read guys like Joe Dispenza and all these, and he was here recently, he really, really has so many people, he's changing so many people on a thought level. He's changing how they are cellularly from their thoughts alone. This is very powerful.
It's really interesting to talk about this, and again, we're not going to go into the scientific side. We're going to We're going to bring Heba back on later on, guys. When it comes to thoughts, and you're looking at, say, music, affirmation, visuals, and things like that, and you look at the difference, and you say everyone's different, everyone reacts to things differently, which is cool. What's the common one for most people? Is it like, I know a lot of people can listen to music and it just completely chills them out, like they're in the car in a stressful driving environment, but the music stops them from being stressed? Or
well, actually, it's interesting you mentioned that because I was just talking about Joe Dispenza, and he mentioned in one of his talks, he said they did a study in or a retreat north of Harvard University where they got a group of men, and these men were in their 70s, and they basically took them for 5 days to this retreat. And put all the Marilyn Monroe posters, all the music on the bands of back in the day of their time. They asked them to be 22 years younger. And basically, they tested them before and after these 5 days for flexibility, for fitness, for IQ scores, a whole bunch of different things. And apparently, everything improved so dramatically from 5 days. Their IQ scores apparently improved by 60%.
Their IQ scores.
Yeah, it improved by 60% just by pretending that they were back in time and listening to music of their youth.
I want to get more intelligent.
You get physiological changes just by pretending to be younger or really believing
a lot of things like that. Like
especially music is so powerful. Like really, music mattered to us most in school days for most people, right? So for me, it's the 90s music. I know if I'm feeling stressed, I'll play 90s music in my car. And at a neurological level, that should reduce my stress because it should bring me back. I mean, of course, if school was happy days, for me they
no
were.
No stresses, no worries about other things.
Some people is traumatic school, but if it was good days, you bring it back to that time, and your brain really doesn't know the difference.
I listen to Dubai 92 because it's got the older songs on there. It's got the 90s songs, and I'm always like, I remember this in college or school.
You should put Cindy Crawford poster back.
Old schools.
Exactly.
It's really the difference, and that's amazing study to hear about that just having that kind of music and that kind of visuals around them, put them in that different space, and only in 5 days as well. I see the IQ test. increased by 60%.
5 days. 5 days. So every day you've got to ask yourself, who are you pretending to be? Because we think that we're fixed, and people always post on Instagram, you're just be yourself, but when you look at brain, it's so changeable. There's nothing fixed about us.
Well, I'm a huge believer in a blank sheet. Like each day you could, if you really think about this, you could wake up each day and be a completely different person on
Absolutely.
that day.
There's no such thing as people can't change. That is physiologically impossible.
I know.
They probably just haven't had the right stimulus or
surrounding environments, and they make that happen. Totally, such a good topic. Let's go back. Let's say we got about 5 minutes, but so some more key points that we can help people identify good stress, and then adapt or solve bad stress.
So identify good stress is the things that make you feel great right after, like the workout that you do. Exercise is a form of stress, and getting that dosage right is key, because obviously if you finish your workout and you feel great and you go into the workout thinking, why was I so stressed to begin with about this stupid topic? Now I feel like that's so not a big deal. That's good stress. You actually feel more supple, more strong, more on top of the world right after the workout. Sometimes you do a workout that makes you feel worse at the end of it. So that's, you push because exercise is like medicine, right? It's about getting that dosage just right.
You can't overdose. You should not overdose.
Yeah, it's like athletes. They get injured from overdoing it, right? And it's our job as trainers to look at those biological markers. But obviously, if you're watching this and you're training yourself, try and feel how you feel at the end of that workout. Do you feel worse than when you came in, or do you feel that high that you should feel when you get the dosage just right?
Totally.
Whether it's a intense exercise or whether it's a mind-body exercise, it should still give you that high at the end of it, because your brain trusts you more. So how you feel at the end of it, I think, is
very cool. Because there's another one I was thinking about, take away from exercise. And I'm thinking of the moment of Will Smith gave a story about when he was turned 50, he did the bungee out of the helicopter over the Grand Canyon, and he talked about the build up towards that. There's this fear. He's like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to, and then it wasn't until after the moment of release that he found this whole other mental space and this, who he was, and this euphoric feeling that he'd successfully done. Is there a difference between that exercise and that?
Apparently the top things that your brain needs, and this is a great takeaway to finish with, actually, because the top things that the brain needs to be to trust you and be a good survivor. One of the lists of top things was things that you're fearful of, slightly fearful, that give you that adrenaline rush, but not so fearful that it breaks you. So
like talking in front of a camera.
For example, talking in front of a camera, or for me it was parkour. Even though I suck at parkour, I hate it. I don't hate it. I mean, I hate myself doing it because I'm so bad at it. But I know that when I do it, it's pushing my, it's just the right amount of fear that's making me
challenge you to be better and to improve yourself,
to improve my brain. So things that you're fearful of is very, very good for the brain. Apparently trying new foods and different textures and crunchy stuff, apparently sunlight, exercise, all the stuff that we know already was in that list. The interesting ones being the fear stuff and the crunchy food I found different.
Super
that was
cool.
just one of the studies I read.
Sounds like a good study if you ask me. It's really funny because we talked about it earlier in the show that there are things that there's a lot of things we already know, but we just don't apply it. The problem is we don't action these things that in our lives we know are good for us. Maybe one more thing as far as actioning. You said like make things small. You said focus on the good points. Like what's the stimulus that makes you feel? Actually, I got a friend who said he thinks about his workouts. He thinks how he's going to feel at the end of the workout. That's how he gets into his workouts, because a lot of time he does did Ironmans and stuff like that, and that's a lot of training. So is there another wee gem or golden nugget out there that you can think of that's a good way to deal with it?
I think what your friend does is spot on for a lot of people. Is really think, every day, am I making myself a better survivor? And because if you think that way instead of just if you think big picture about longevity, about your goal of living longer, all of our goals, hopefully, right? To live longer, it gives you a different type of motivation to eat better and breathe better and move better for a whole higher reason. rather than just I have to be healthy or to get in shape or all that stuff. So if you think big picture, like how you're going to feel at the end of it, or how you're going to become a better survivor at the end of this, it gives you a much bigger motivation to do what you need to do.
Absolutely. No, I'm totally with you. I got a big smile because I'm just agree. Heba, thank you very much for joining us today on the show. Guys, to get hold of Heba, you can find her at Bodyhack. It's online, or the Instagram tag is Bodyhack UAE. You can get in touch with her about the courses they run, or just information to ask questions, because I'm sure she'd love to hear from you more, right? We want to talk more. Would you like to come back on the show?
I'd love to.
That'd be excellent. Great.
Thank you.
Fantastic. Yes. Lots of good things to share. But guys, remember that Find for People app is now out on Android and Apple stores. So you can go on there and you can find the best professionals, courses, and events. Check it out. Let us know your feedback on that one as well. If you have any topics you'd like us to share, you'd like us to talk about, please let us know that as well. But again, thank you to Heba for joining us today. Guys, take care. Remember, every day, 10:30, we're here, the Find for People show. See you then.